Do you remember that one map in your favorite Counter-Strike title that was only thought to be for cheaters? Or that there's so little people that queue for the map it might not even be worth playing it, which would then make you be the odd man out for always enjoying it. Most CS players automatically queue for the basics, such as Mirage, Inferno, Dust 2, and possibly even an Obvious game for a nice change-up or strat roulette at 3 AM with some randoms or friends. Now, until you really start deep diving, you really don't realize how many of these one-off maps have huge followings, especially as of right now for not being a part of CS2. If that's previous operation maps like Zoo, Season, Insurgent, for myself, that map is Agency. It seems like the creators of Agency have been back in action, porting over the map to the CS2 engine with some new boosts, adjustments for quality of life and gameplay improvements. It's just the question is, will this ever be brought back to official servers? Today's video marks a new series in the channel where we take a look at the one-off Counter-Strike maps from the past. Maybe it's one of your favorites, you've never heard of it, or you just know about the massive silent following. Today's video, we're gonna check out Agency's port to Counter-Strike 2, see what's changed, what can be improved, and discuss the possibility of it coming back to CS2 soon. Now, today's video sponsor is SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a buying but most notably trading marketplace for all your Counter-Strike needs. SkinsMonkey offers a wide variety of skins. Once you find the item you want, hit trade for either items you currently have or for one of many deposit options. You can use my code MANDO for up to a free $5 alongside a 35% deposit bonus. And with their large selection of skins, SkinsMonkey also offers daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways. If interested, the link will be in the description down below. Now, one of the largest disappointments, at least for myself, and I know it's a lot of other people in the CS community, was the lack of one-off maps in CS2's launch. It has the core basics, and some players are going to say that's all the game needs, but what about the maps to have fun or absolutely go on a tear on in the middle of the night or possibly to warm up before a match? Now, after being a little over a year since Counter-Strike 2's release, I believe the reason we didn't see the one-off maps or modes for CS2's release from CSGO was I'm not 100% sure, but if I had to guess, Valve saw the player numbers and instead of working with mappers that own those said maps, they thought it would be best to give CS2 a new start with fresh maps, or they saw the player count and thought it wouldn't be worth their time, money, and energy to port them over, which I think that one is the most likely alongside the fact that CS2 is more shaped for competitive esports side of things than the one-off community maps and modes. Now, as it stands for Agency, this was once a map I used to grind. When Counter-Strike became stale or boring, this was my go-to favorite map. The players you'd go up against were most likely fresh accounts. Some were cheaters or noobs straight from Call of Duty. This map was just built different. Comparing this to Counter-Strike 2's map pool we have right now, it's kind of similar to Vertigo with the verticality, but also because it's played so much different than any other map in the current pool. Now, from a first glance, the map is basic, boring, but with cool scenery. And if you really deep dive, util is extremely important. Footsteps were everything, and sound cues could win you a game, somewhat similar to Vertigo. Now, Agency was first released alongside Operation Bravo in 2013. Unlike most community maps where they get removed after the update is gone, Agency stayed in the game until late 2016, where it was removed from the game files and later re-released in Operation Hydra in 2017. Now, heading on over to the Source 2 port, loading in CT spawn, it's already seen a massive change where unlike CSGO, you can get back to spawn without having to boost or die and spawn in the next round to get on the helicopter pad. Right away, you can see there's more colors just aside white, gray, and black. The colors are popping and more vibrant than CSGO. And in CT spawn, you're gonna notice right away, there is dozens of more places to hide as a T while you wait for the CTs to rescue the hostages and bring it back to spawn, which honestly, I'm not sure if it's a W or an L for whatever side. Now, this is myself on the post edit, but I do want to mention that this video has been in the works for the past couple of weeks, and ever since I started working on it, Agency has since seen some great changes to the map, making it much more balanced for both CTs and Ts, alongside a few quality of life improvements. Now, starting off with a short list is the security beeper room heading into the spiral stairs. The beeper has since seen a new beep, which is much quieter than the one in CSGO, so headphone awareness is going to be very important. The glass in the middle is back, so you can sneak past sneaky beaky like in CSGO. This creates more balance to sneak past if you're in a clutch situation. Now, just outside beeper in the next room, well, right in front of you, you can see spiral stairs, and if you go right, you can go to CT spawn. This has seen a brand new addition with a new room being added near CT spawn. This has a ladder that you can go up and down on, as well as now the CTs have much more ground to get an angle on an enemy, and also creates a space where the entire team, if they decide to go to the same spot, are now all crammed into one room, where one nade can pretty much get rid of all you. And the next addition is on the stairs heading from lobby into T spawn. There is now a railing on the outside that goes all the way to T spawn, which gives the CTs just another place to flank, making it also a little bit more easier as well for the CTs just to get a couple more rounds. As a CT, you're gonna need someone to boost you, so unless you go with 3 people, only one person's gonna be able to get the flank, but I gotta say this was unexpected, but overall a great change in addition to Agency inside Counter-Strike 2. And lastly, CT spawn has also since seen a change with HUT, where they've now made it so it's where the AC vents were back in CSGO, and also the window cleaning department is back, but we're gonna touch on that later on in the video. Now, overall, these are minor changes, but make the Agency experience feel and play that much better. Now, heading on into the side room with Catwalk next to Beeper has been completely overhauled. Connector is mostly the same, but the only one-off thing I will say is coming from bathrooms or washrooms, whatever you want to call them, looking towards Connector with this color and art on the wall, it's really hard to see from a first glance and just playing far away that there's even a wall behind it. It's hard to see if there's actually depth to it. So I'm not sure if the devs of this map could change that and just make the depth feel a little bit more real. Now, prior to CS2's port of agency, back in CSGO, to get on this catwalk, you either had to go from T-spawn or boost with 1 to 2 people on the stairs, gutting up to cat, which then you could see into paper, the room with the computer, and everything else that brings. But unlike CSGO, inside CS2, it now is a self-boost that works that could change gameplay entirely. The devs have really done a solid job so far of making this map feel a little bit more CT-sided or just feel a little bit more fair, especially for players who have never really played the map, so on and so forth. Now, playing as a T, you'd normally have 1 guy sitting at paper, spotting a boost, 1 to 2 guys in boardroom looking up at the middle stairs, maybe 1 to 2 people chilling and looking beeper for first easy round picks. But now one of those players will have to play and spot this boost so that paper won't be taken out by the side, which, like I said, can definitely change up the gameplay. Probably will. Now, for the small nitpicks and Easter eggs around the map, it seems like the window cleaning department has finally set sail, and as of right now, they no longer are outside of the T-spawn window. Now, as it stands for boosts for the CTs in the photocopy room, those are the exact same. And as of right now, the hostage placement is also the same. Now, very quickly, this is myself in the post edit, but originally I was going to do a pros and cons list for the revamp of agency, but it seems like as of the last couple of days, the agency devs have updated the map once again. One of the many changes and additions is the return of the window cleaning department. Now, unlike CSGO, where this spot was really only used for strat roulette at 3 AM with some randoms or friends, in CS2, the window cleaning spot is actually very useful and great to hold angles and corners for CTs grabbing hostages or rushing into your spawn blind. Overall, just like the rest of the additions we've had, these are some great changes. As well as this most recent update for agency has also included in CT spawn a new entrance/exit for its restaurant, making another spot for either players to camp, to check and see if the coast is clear playing as a CT to make the hostage back to spawn, but playing as a T, it's also another place you can hide to make sure you can win the round last second. Now, as it stands for my cons of this port of agency to CS2, prior to Counter-Strike 2 back in CSGO, glass on maps with windows and panels always felt very easy to see through, which caused problems for players thinking the enemy was behind it and causing confusion. For CS2's port of agency, the glass is very dark, making it much harder to see through, or in some cases, seeing what's behind it at all. Now, this could be the design for the map, but I'm not sure. I think this is most likely due to the map's lighting being darker, but some simple tweaks to the map that have windows and panels in it could make this amazing. Right off the bat, I gotta say CT spawn is a beautiful change, but having this many places to hide forces players to camp, which, yes, the argument here back in CSGO is players did all the time. You kind of had to in that sort of scenario. But I think CT spawn, with how many places there is to hide, is definitely gonna be a hit or miss moment and will most definitely play and be different than CSGO. But maybe this time around, this change is actually good. And I also will mention that the port of agency to CS2 has been great, including FPS. Counter-Strike 2 is obviously no longer running on a 20-year-old engine, but it's really great considering some maps in the current map pool are currently sitting at some of the same FPS or at sometimes worse. Especially for how beautiful this map looks, getting decent FPS is always solid. And lastly for today's video is the question if Valve will eventually buy this and add it to Counter-Strike 2. Overall, I think it's very likely. Now, since Valve has shipped the armory update, everything has changed. That seems to be cosmetics for an operation, it just didn't have the content that an operation normally comes with. With this also being so close to the Shanghai Major, Valve didn't want to change up gameplay, tweak and add too many things to the game because that would mess up pros right before the event. They also want players like us to just focus on the Major itself and also stickers. So I think the one-off maps like Agency could make their way to Counter-Strike 2 sometime after the Shanghai Major has concluded. Just picture how we got the armory update 2 weeks ago, and then in a few weeks time, or maybe a couple of months, we'll get an MVP style update, which will then conclude the armory update to be in operation, but obviously missing a few key features. Now let me know what you guys think down below of what map you'd like to see next in Counter-Strike's map pool. Maybe you felt it was underrated from CSGO. Leave it down below and we'll check it out for the next episode. I'm out, guys. Peace.